I mean, that is not a sustainable conservation area. It is 40 hectares. It's a tiny little petting zoo where you've got all these big cats kept in small enclosures, and they'll argue that a hectare is not a small enclosure. Where your average lion pride has 10,000 hectares that it needs to roam in. A hectare is a tiny enclosure, and those animals are there purely for human greed, or human self-gratification. There's scientific, no conservation-based argument for those places to exist. Sorry, rant over. Hosana, get up and do something before I get angry about those people. Bananas, the lot of them. It's another interesting question, because this game farming has changed a lot in the last 20 years or so, Sean. Traditionally, when you had a game farm, and you had impala and nyala and wildebeest and whatnot, and most people didn't have predators outside leopards that would be naturally occurring, but no big cats outside of the leopards, of course, and the odd brown hyena or spotted hyena. The game farms were controlled, and you would have to cull, you'd have to shoot or hunt a certain amount of species to keep the population for the size of the farm in order. But it's the live game trade, which is now what is considered game farming, where you're getting ridiculous amounts of money for aberrations. There's black impala and white impala and black springbok and golden wildebeest and disease-free buffalo. I mean, where the prices skyrocketed so much that everyone thought this was a good thing to get into. The control on it at the moment is probably a little bit lax, because it's an industry that's sort of spurted out of nowhere and very quickly. And I know there are regulations, and nature conservation in all the different provinces is trying to regulate it to a degree, but it's also very difficult because it's big business, and it also employs a lot of people. So you've got to look at it from both sides. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with game farming as long as it's done correctly, and you don't persecute the animals like leopards. Because now all of a sudden you've got a trophy Nyala bull that is worth $20,000, and you keep it in a little pen. If you're going to keep it in a little pen, you must make the pen leopard proof, in my opinion, or get some Anatolian sheepdogs. And there's been great success in predator prevention with different species of dogs to protect the livestock, and the same could be done for the game farming industry. Now, it's a very complicated topic, like most of these things, and there's no one simple answer. But it's always good to think about it and talk about some of the more difficult things sometimes. Okay, let's send you across to Steve. Hopefully he's hot on the trails of the beloved Tandy.
Yeah, well, we seem to be. We've double-checked the one side, and there's nothing in here. Quite a nice favourite haunt, apparently, is in this depression. So now we're going to go to the other side. Maybe if she's there. The tracks we last had were very, very fresh. It looked like her and the cub Kalamba lying in the road and moving this way, moving that way. They went to drink, and they headed sort of in this direction. But we've checked this entire sort of eastern side. Now we're going to go check the western side. But this is what we're looking in. Trying to find a leopardess and her cub in here is very interesting. Fun though. We're not saying a lot. We're walking at absolute quiet. All you can hear really is the grass and our footfalls and the odd bird chirping. No alarm calls as yet. It's been a long time since I've tracked a leopard and cub, and there's just always something about that grips the heart. Andrew, African wildcats are found throughout the savanna biome. I don't see them very often. They're a lot more secretive, and they're a lot smaller than the other cats, but they are around, and they are at huge risk of being hybridized with the domestic, which occurs in the communities and outside the park. So they are at risk of that. But if we do find a track or any sign of one, I'll be sure to show you. But there's lots of small animals, small birds and squirrels and things like that that are ideal food for wildcats. That's kind of their niche. Franklins, small birds, squirrels, even mongooses, I suppose, could fall prey to them. Thank you, Hosana. Appreciate that. Apparently I'd be a good guide anywhere in the universe. Should I go on this Mars expedition then? It's a 5-year one-way trip. Not sure if I'd want to do that. VM says he saw the movie. It doesn't end well. So we are just really carefully moving through the undergrowth here. See if we can find the tracks. It does get quite tricky. We have Herbie on the trail, but for those of you out there who know me well enough, how about a quiz for those of you out there who know I like my poo? Here is nice sized droppings. That. Yes, Brent Leo Smith, we do have many acacias here in Djuma. There's one right there, the tallest one. In front of us is a knobthorn, Acacia nigrescens, a number of other species around. And funny, can you believe that I can actually tell that this was an acacia as well at one point. Oh, fork-tailed drongo is chasing a lizard buzzard. A honey badger of the sky takes no nonsense of the small raptors of the sky. The lizard buzzard easily identified when it flies by that white just down the rump and the size. I can gently see the little throat patch here. You can confuse them with some other birds, but you can narrow it down quite easily with that white on the rump. So yes, definitely lots of acacias, and who done that? Hashtag Safari Live. Quite large pellets. I'll even break it open for you. It's quite well digested, broken up, and it's lots, very, very well ruminated. Quite large. Okay, well in the meantime, let's go back over to Brent.
Well, as you can see, not much has happened with Hosana. He's still in the exact same spot. Come on, boy, it's time to get moving. It's time to be exciting. I know it's been a long day of thieving and staring at Impala. I think while we haven't seen him for the last few days, he's been on a kill somewhere. And just, there definitely wasn't enough of that carcass left to make him as fat as he is. There we go. At least he's rolled over to face us this time. Now, the number one natural predator of leopards, Julie, is leopards. So most leopard mortalities are perpetrated by other leopards. Around 70% of known leopard mortalities are done by other leopards. And that's normally when they're under a year old, and then young males between 2 and 4. It's by other adult males. It's mostly all by... You hear that, David? That sounded like a tree just falling down by itself. Just reverse back a little bit. It didn't sound like an elephant. It just sounded like a dead tree, like a massive branch. The termites have finally got through it. We'll just check in case there are some eddies over there. But to me, it sounded like a rotten branch just decided to give up the ghost. Just... Because I think if there had been eddies around, we would have heard them for a while, and you would have heard them moving and breaking branches and feeding. That was just a sharp crack and thump. Robert, I don't think leopard have the capacity to hate any trees the most. I would say, especially when there's lions around, they love the closest tree. It doesn't matter how skinny or thorny or small it is, they'll go straight up it to avoid being eaten. I don't think they hate any trees. Most movement we've seen in a while, with a few tail flicks there. As I just said, if there's a lion close by, they'll go up the thorniest tree they can see. They don't hate. It's an animal. I don't. Or apart from maybe hyenas, they probably hate hyenas and hate lions. And then again, I think it's an instinctive response. It's not hate in the human definition of the word hate or understanding. It's that thing will kill me, I need to survive. Hate rather than I really don't like that particular hyena. It's very smelly and rude. Oh. What happened there, boy? Is something getting on your nerves? The fly's getting to you. Now, Hosana, as beautiful and as deadly as he is, Djuma, the elephants would not hesitate to move through here and chase him out of the way. They are much, much bigger. The true kings of the African bush. Hosana would just try to get out of their way. Wouldn't you little rascal? Are we going to do something now? Or are we going to go flop down somewhere else where you think there's less flies? Don't go flop down in the longer grass. Don't you do it. Don't you. No. It's time to get up and go moving. It's not time for napping anymore. You've paid to nap. Now, Napcatzer has noticed that Hosana is breathing quite quickly and is asking, does he always do that when he's at rest? Now, no, Napcatzer, he doesn't. He's got a full tummy, so it's the digestion that's causing him to breathe so heavily and so fast while he's digesting whatever poor, unsuspecting antelope that has found its way into his tummy. And you can see as it gets cooler, he's going to be breathing less quickly. He's catnapping properly at the moment. Now we do have some schools joining us now, so we're going to send you across to Steve on Bushwalk so he can welcome our schools.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to our two schools this afternoon, Hosana Male Leopard and Alderwood School, one from Washington and one from Canada in the North Americas. Welcome to Djuma in the Sabi Sands. My name is Steve Falconbridge and I am on foot in the African wilderness, and I've got a cameraman who's coming closer and closer and closer and closer to me, and his name is VM the Wildebeest, and we have been on tracks of a female leopard and her little cub. Cub's she's been moving through this area, but we've been trying very hard. We're going to give it one last attempt as we walk along here, see if we can find her. But as you can see in the distance, our sun is setting. I know any of you in the northern hemisphere or even far, far west, the sun's probably only rising, but to us it's getting dark and late, and after dark all the creepy crawlies come out. But before we move on, don't forget to send through your questions with the teacher. Let us know what you'd like to see. I've got a little surprise, a little present for you. Have a look here, Wildy. Okay, here is the pod of a russet bush willow, and we're going to open it up and look what's inside. Oh, marvelous. There is a little seed for the tree, the russet bush willow, and that is beautiful. Now, you can make a wonderful tea out of these pods, but make sure you take out that little piece there. Otherwise, you're going to get unbelievable hiccups. But I'm not alone this afternoon on drive. We have got another person just over there, and he's already found himself a leopard. Let's go to Brent.
Well, can you believe that as a leopard, that white little flash is the end of the leopard's tail? So a big welcome to all our kids today. It's very exciting to have you on your very own live school drive. My name is Brent. I have my friend David on camera. And we've got one of my favorite leopards behind me. And his name is Hosana. Except he's not being very cooperative at the moment and lying in the thick grass. So I'm going to move the car a little bit to see if we can get a better view of him. Oh, he's just flopped down in the grass to try and get away from some of the biting flies. We'll see if we can see him now. Can't you see him? He's right there. Today I have seen lions, leopards, giraffe, impala. Well, I need to count them, don't I, Shamea? Lion, leopard, giraffe, impala, inyala, wildebeest, tiger, steenbok, squirrel, dwarf, mongoose, bushbuck. I saw a bushbuck this morning. And lots of different birds as well. But we have a very lazy leopard at the moment. But as it gets cooler and it gets a bit darker, I'm hoping he's going to get up and start moving. Now, Munraj, if I could train the animals, he wouldn't be lying where you can't see him nicely, now would he? He'd be doing something nice for you out in the open. Now, even though we are quite close to them, we train them to be used to the cars, but this leopard is completely wild. We are in an 8 million acre unfenced ecosystem, so we don't train them at all. So it's bushveld for as far as the eye can see. Ollie would like to know, what is the life cycle of a leopard? Well, Ollie, a female leopard, will give birth to normally 2 cubs, and they'll stay with their mom till they're about 18 months old, and then she'll chase them away. If it's a female leopard, she will give a piece of her territory away to the little female, so she has an easier start in life. A male leopard, like this young gentleman lying in the grass next to us, he's just over 2 years old, will hang around in the area he was born and by himself till he is chased away by another big male leopard, and then he will normally wander for normally 3 to 4 years before he's big enough and strong enough to fight another male leopard to take over his territory, and then he will stay there and he'll mate with all the females to make lots of baby leopards till he gets old, and then another young male will come fight him and take it away from him. Whereas the females will stay normally in their territory for the majority of their life. They might encompass or move or take over bits of territory, but they normally stay not too far away from where they're born. Not always, but most of the time. Whereas young males can move hundreds of kilometers away from where they were born. Now, Callie is wondering, what are the leopard's ears made out of? Well, they're made out of cartilage, just like your ears, Callie. So they are made out of meat, a little bit of meat, and some cartilage and skin and veins, just like most other mammals' ears. And you can see he's trying to bite the flies that are biting his ears. Maybe the biting flies will cause him to get up and move so we can have a good look at him. Let's wait, he's popped his head up for a second. There we go, you can see his beautiful face, and as he puts it down in the grass again, let's send you across to one of the biggest water holes in our area.
Right, we finally got at Chitwa Dam, and look what we got. These are what sometimes we call the river horses or the sea horses, the hippopotamus. And if you can hear all the in the background, those are weavers. Although you are asking if the animals do see us, yes, the animals do see us very well. They see clearly, they can see where we are, and we can also see them. But they have habituated to seeing safe people. We never get so close to them. We never threaten them in any way. And that's why you can see them enjoying being in the water, swimming and communicating. And you can hear the weaver birds and the hippos just, snorting and communicating, telling each other what's going to happen tonight when they go feeding. And to the old school kids, welcome to our Sunset Drive. First, how close do we get to the animals? It would depend on the type of animal, and you'd also read its body language. So, like earlier, if you were watching, I don't know whether you were, but we had Hosana very, very close to us. He was very relaxed. We behaved well, and we were with it for like a whole 45 minutes. Hippos, give or take, the 50 meters from where we are, they're relaxed. They know they're in the right habitat. They're in their home in the water. We are on land, and all that looks fine. And if I may introduce myself, my name is David, and on the camera today is Sebastian, and we have another nice gentleman by the name of James Henry. I'm sure you have seen that face before. I'm sure for the time you have already seen Sebastian's stamp, and we're very excited to be with you. Today I come from Kenya and I'm visiting South Africa, training to be a presenter, and I'm very happy, and I welcome all of you on board this evening. See that hippo there opening its huge mouth. Your original question is, are baby hippos born in the water? Yes, because you'd imagine how delicate they would be. And water means a lot to hippos. And because even for the adults, they need to be underwater during the day because of the heat and the sun. So you'd imagine the babies would need the water more than even the adults. So the mother hippos will move slightly bit on the edge of the water in shallow waters, and that's where the babies are born. Nice question. Irvin, you'd like to know how long can a hippo stay underwater? You look on some text, they'll say 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Out of my own experience, I think they stay for about 3 minutes, and then they'll be up getting some fresh oxygen, then again back under the water. But if there could be any concern or any danger in the outside world, they may want to hide under the water maybe for a whole 5 minutes. It has been claimed even 10 minutes, as I said earlier, they could stay under the water. But for me, I think every 2 or 3 minutes, I see them out carbon dioxide and in oxygen. I hope, Dante, I got your question right. Do hippos got teeth? Yes, and they got, if you're very lucky, you will be seeing them opening their big, huge mouth. And you'll see they got teeth, and apparently they also got what you'd call tusks that are like your canine teeth. Huge, huge. And hippos eat green matter or green plants that we call them herbivores. Look at that. Can you see that? Well done, Sebastian. He's one of the greatest cameramen we got around here. And the hippo, you're very welcome. And the hippo might have been listening to your question, and it just thought, you know what? David will say one thing, but it's easier to see than to hear what David says. Look at another one there, look. I'm sure your teacher will compliment you and tell you how lucky you are. Yes, and as we wait for these hippos to keep opening their mouth, the leopard is doing something.
Well, there we go. He started to wake up as it's got cooler. Isn't he just a gorgeous, gorgeous creature? Looks like he might have heard us. I'm looking behind us. I can't see anything. But his hearing is much better than mine. Maybe he heard some dinner. Now, there's no shops out here for the leopard. He's got to go catch everything himself. No. What has he seen? Maybe a hyena? Hyenas. Oh, a whole mass of hyenas coming in here. Look at that. He's going to try to keep away from them. The hyenas like to steal food from leopards, and they will chase him. So I've got to concentrate on driving now, otherwise we'll lose him. Look at that. A whole group of hyenas. Oh, he's climbed up onto a branch. Let me just see where he is now. It's some thick bush here. You might go higher up where the hyenas can't get to him. See him there, Dave? Clever boy. Manraj, hyenas will hunt as a clan or as a group or by themselves. It just depends on what they're hunting. If they're hunting something small, they'll hunt by themselves. If they're hunting something big like a hippo, they'll hunt in big groups. Where are you off to now, little Hosana? Those horrible hyenas made you jump up from your slumber. Now, the hyenas probably thought he might have some food nearby, and they might want to try steal it, but he doesn't have any food nearby. And look at the hyenas sniffing around, trying to see if close by. Okay, I need to try find a way through this thick bush now. Javier, hyenas are not cats nor dogs. They're hyenas. But they're probably more closely related to mongoose and bears than either cats or dogs. They're their own family. So the hyenas are moving away. They've realized the leopard didn't have any food there. Now, hopefully we haven't lost him. This is quite a thick area here. Oh, there's a big tree. Oh dear, this is a very thick area. Can you see him, Dave? I think maybe we can sneak through that gap. No, Bummy, leopards. Oh, it's that same thing. Don't live in groups. They are solitary. No, we're not getting over that one. We don't want to lose him, so I'm just going to try to find a way through the bush. Okay, hold on, hold on. Bumpity through here. Lots of dry sticks and branches that the elephants have pushed over. So there's the branch he was on, and he came down. We're going to keep our eyes peeled. Okay, I'm going to try find the leopard for you again while I concentrate on trying to find him in this thick bush. Let's go see what Steve's up to on bushwalk.
Well, all the excitement you're having over there with hyenas and leopards meant we walked past lots and lots of trees and bushes that I wanted to talk about. But don't worry, I grabbed some samples and I've got some tasty treats for the African wilderness. But now, boys and girls, what do you do if you're out here and you need to eat? First of all, us as humans survived out here in the African landscape. This is where we came from, and we needed to survive. Now, how do you know what to eat and what not to eat? In my hands, I've got some berries. Have a look. Some are red. Some are black, some are green. How do I know if I can eat them? There's another berry from a different tree altogether. It's also red. Now, what is the technique and the trick to find out, am I going to kill myself or am I going to survive? Well, first of all, the first thing you do is you lift off a branch like that. You have a look. Is there any milky latex? Okay, no milky latex. That's okay. Then you're going to take the berry. Okay, let's take the red one because red's normally good on berries. And break it, rub it on your skin, and leave it for a few minutes. If it makes a rash, then don't eat the fruit. Then take it again and put it on softer skin, you know, where you've got really soft skin. So over here, again, leave it. If it doesn't leave any rash, then you can eat it. Or first of all, you taste it. If it's bitter, leave it alone. That one's quite nice. Okay, but now, if you take these ones, obviously, how do you know? I showed you one before, and this one looks very much like the other one, but if you eat this one, it can kill you. If you eat these ones, it's going to make your tummy go very, very sore. You're going to need to go to the toilet again and again and again. So it's very careful. Be very careful what you eat out here. You have to know and understand the ways and wonders of surviving in the bush, and over many years you can get it. And then you can get all the food and all the nourishment you need. And on that note, we're going to keep munching, and we're going to head on back. It's getting very dark. Holly, there's a lot of animals that live in trees. You want to know which ones? Well, first of all, leopards like to go up trees to get away from hyena, as you've just seen. They like to put their meat up in the tree so that they can feed day in and day out so that nothing steals the meat. And then there's lots of birds. Most of them, not all of them, but lots of them will stay in the tree, even if it's just for the night time. Some of them nest there, some of them nest in cups in the tree or baskets. Some of them weave beautiful balls. Some of them live in holes in the tree like woodpeckers. They actually burrow into the tree looking for insects, and then that makes a cavity that allows other birds and animals to live there. And then some of them will actually live just in the thick bushes, just like in there. A lot of them will live in there and hide in there, and every now and again when we walk past, they jump out and they make a huge noise and your heart nearly stops. And it happens all the time. I've stopped jumping externally, but internally I still jump. Okay, well, it seems that David has managed to find a very nice antelope. Let's go and see what he has to say about them.
All right, nice kids. You're with David again, and we got two different antelopes here. And if you look carefully, they have one commonality or two commonalities. If you look behind them, the one close to the screen there, you can see it got 3 black stripes. And that is very common, or that's what you see on this particular antelope. That is called the impala. The bigger one that's a bit grayish further up there, which is much bigger, that one is called a waterbuck. Waterbuck has the white ring on its bum. So one common thing about these two antelopes is they are males because they got horns. And I'm sure you know, in general, male animals in Africa and most of the antelopes will have their horns, and the females will not have horns. It's not always. We got other antelopes where you get both males and females having horns, but for this particular two types of antelopes, they got the males with the horns, females without the horns. One of them, the big one, the waterbuck, the grayish one, has that name because it does not live very, very far from water. It keeps eating, but also it keeps drinking. And it is near where we got a dam called the Chitwa Dam. The impala also drink water, but not more so like the waterbuck. But you'd like to know what antelopes eat. All antelopes in general eat green plants, eat green matter, and they'll eat grass depending on the type of antelope. Some will eat leaves and some will eat twigs or small branches or plants or tubers on the ground. But all of them will eat plants. And looking at that beautiful male impala there, Brent has one of the predators or one of the cats that is always a big concern to this impala.
Well, he's a concerned no impala at the moment. He's gone back to catnapping after his nap was interrupted by the hyenas. So he's just going to snooze. The temperature is dropping quite quickly, which is always good for him. He prefers it when it's cool, and that's when he does most of his hunting. Now, as Dave was saying, he likes impalas. It's one of his favorite foods. You can hear a bit of shuffling. I'm just putting my jersey on because it's getting cold. Christian, leopards are what we would call stalk and ambush predators. So what they do is they use that incredible camouflage. You saw how he disappeared into the grass a bit earlier to sneak close and closer and closer to an antelope, and then when he's about 5 meters away, then he coils his body like a spring and tightens all his muscles and punches them, and then just leaps at incredible speed, and then he'll jump on the antelope and then grab its throat normally. And why they grab the throat is they suffocate the animals there. That's how they kill them. They've got a special gap in between their teeth that pinches the windpipe of the animals closed. And the main reason they do that is because if that animal that they're catching makes a distress sound, or it's sort of something like wah, wah, it will make all the hyenas and lions come running. So they try to grab that throat and suffocate it quickly so they don't lose whatever they catch to hyenas or lions. And then leopards are the only big cat in Africa who will then take their food up a tree, and they'll put it high up a tree so the lions and hyenas can't steal it from them, and they can eat it over a few days at their leisure. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you what's going to happen. We are going to switch on a very special light because it's getting dark. It's called our IR light, or infrared light, which enables the sensors in the camera to see in the dark. Now, if you were a leopard, this is what your eyesight would be looking like. So that's how leopards and lions normally see. They don't see all the colors that we do. And this way, we're able to follow the animals after dark without interfering in their hunting. Oh, the hyenas are calling. I'm just going to keep quiet so you can listen. Can you hear that? Ooh. He's also listening. sure it's the same hyenas we just saw. Listen to that, it's so beautiful. Outside, hyenas communicate by whooping and cackling. They also leave scent communications, so they will leave a paste on a grass stalk that is from their bottom, and that is also a form of communication. So if any other hyena smells it, they know that it's this hyena's territory or this clan's territory. But they also visually by baring teeth and showing submission to each other. So hyenas have lots of different types of communication. Leopards as well, as you're saying. So leopards also can call. They will make a rasping roar. Sounds almost like someone sawing wood with a big saw. So is what a leopard call sounds like. And they also use smell communication and visual communication with their faces by snarling or showing submissive behavior, but also by scent marking, by spraying urine on different bushes and trees. So that will tell the other leopards who's been here, what's it been up to. It's sort of like a leopard signpost, a leopard chat board when they urinate on trees and bushes. Now, Ali the leopard is sleeping when the hyenas are near because he knows he's much faster than them, and he can run faster than them, and he can climb up a tree to get away from them. A leopard is capable of doing about 70 kilometers an hour, just over actually 70 kilometers an hour. No, I lie completely, about 90 kilometers an hour for very short distances, which works out at about 24 meters per second. And Ivan was wondering that. Okay, I'm going to sit here to see what this little leopard gets up to next. In the meantime, let's go see if David's managed to find anything else.
Say that again? Yes, and we just finished with all the antelopes we had before, and now we are back towards camp. It's getting dark, but still there's a lot that happens even in the darkness. And I'll tell you what, there's one big difference between where I am now and where I come from. I come from East Africa, in a country called Kenya, and it's about 1,800 miles away. There, after darkness, we do not do game drives. So you are very lucky, or I'm very lucky, to be able to do the drives here, even as it gets dark. And if you look carefully now, we're using infrared, because what we do, we are sensitive to the animals, because if you shine direct, so like say spotlight to them, it's not very good. It affects their behavior. Imagine you sleep at night and someone comes and shines a bright torch on your face. You'll not be very happy, will you? So, in the same case, treat the wild animals with love and giving them back what they give us. Because they may not be able to speak for themselves. It's us to do what you're supposed to do. And at night, we got animals that start getting busy. I'm talking about including birds, like the nightjars. You'll see them jumping on the road, coming on the road because it's much warmth, and they get a bit of warmth from the sand or from what would say the substrate. And also we get small little jumpy bunnies like that we call scrub hares, which could be similar to jackrabbit. They all come out at night. But we got the big animals also, like leopards, that will still maybe come out at night to do their thing. chameleons too. Miley, good question. And you like to know if the leopards hunt during the night or the day. It could be both. We would say more day than night because that's what we see more. At night, chances are we'll not see them hunting, but they would either hunt during the day or the night. Both times, depending on how hungry they are, where they are, what type of a leopard it is. If it's Tandy that has a baby, that has to keep hunting every other time. If it's Hosana, it might wait, because what would happen is even leopards want to hunt with the easiest possible way. They don't want to struggle hunting the darkness. They might end up falling in a hole or getting a thorn in the eye. So more often than not, I would say they'd prefer to hunt during the day when they can see better. They'd want an easier way, just like you. If you want to go to the market to get some grocery, you tell your mom or your daddy, you go to the grocery store during the day and not at night. Alrighty. And Hosana is still entertaining us.
Entertaining us with how well he can sleep. Now, leopards can sleep for about 18 hours a day if they've got a full tummy. And he's got half a full tummy, I would say. He's not overly fat, and I'm really hoping he gets up and starts moving shortly. But he's made himself more comfortable at the moment, curled himself into, well, using his foot as a pillow. Hey, little man. He is a very beautiful cat. Aha! Male Leopard omnivores. They are most definitely carnivores. Oh, he seemed to like me saying he was a carnivore, and licked his lips and lifted his head. Is he going to head out to try find himself some fresh red meat for dinner? No, he's going to go back to sleep. Now, Rim, I have actually seen leopards fight each other on a few occasions. I just heard something in the grass. No, it was a bird, I think. I think it was just a bird getting settled for the night. So, Rim, yes, I have seen leopards fight each other, and they make incredibly loud noise, sort of, and it's very, very violent. Now, male leopards have thicker skin around their neck to protect themselves when they fight, because male leopards tend to fight a little bit more than females. Isn't that amazing? So when we turn on the light, we can see him. Yes, Helena, leopards are warm-blooded. They are mammals like us. So, yes, they are warm-blooded. So, with the antelope you've seen, I'm not sure, and the hippo you might have seen, all of those are warm-blooded animals. Oof, mosquitoes are biting my toes tonight. Carmen, yes, baby leopards are born with fur, but the fur is a little bit darker, and it's a bit darker so they can hide from potential predators easily, because mom will give birth to them in a den, normally a hole in a riverbank or in a termite mound, and she has to leave them when she goes out to hunt so she can produce milk for them. So their fur is a bit darker, so they are a bit better camouflaged, even better camouflaged than they are now, which they are insanely well camouflaged already. Oh, tired kitty. So even though he's lying down and snoozing, watch his ears, how they're moving. They're listening to every little sound out there in the African bush. That's how he knew those hyenas were coming and was far faster than them. Leopards have very good hearing. Now I'm going to sit with our little leopard chief. Hopefully he does decide to get moving. In the meantime, it seems like David's going to answer questions about the spotted hyena.
Yes, Hosana, hopefully he's going to give us a bit of movement. He has been in that position for long. Let's see what happens before we close the drive. And here we are, and still trying to find out what we can see in the night. Sorry, we just bumped into some big antelope there. And it's a big antelope called the Nyala. It's a big male, a bit shy. Tell you what, you'd like to know what what antelope's horns are used for. Primarily for only one purpose, for defense or for fighting. That's the only main reason why most antelopes will have the horns. Occasionally they might use them for digging, or we've got some big antelopes like the elands that might use the horn to bring branches down to feed on. And sometimes they may use the horns on the ground, but mainly is for fight. Males tend to fight with each other over the females. That's the only one big reason I'd say they use the horn for the males. Seb, do you think we lost the Nyala? Do we back up a little bit? We had a very beautiful antelope here for you. Seb, do you want me to move forward? So give me 1 second. We're going to reposition and see if we can see this beautiful big male Nyala. Yeah, he wandered off. He must have been a coward. Ivan, you'd like to know if hyenas are dangerous. Yes or no, depending they are dangerous to who? To man or to the other animals? Ideally, from where we live and where we come from, if you meet hyenas, they'll always go their way. If hyenas meet other animals, and I'm talking, for example, cheetahs, and they got a kill, to the cheetahs, hyenas are dangerous because the cheetahs will take off and they will leave their kill to the hyenas. So they are dangerous in that sense. But under normal circumstances, on human beings, we have not heard of cases where hyenas have attacked man. But out in the wilderness, hyenas are to cheetahs and sometimes to lions. Who has... Jordan, you'd like to know if hyenas got good eyesight. Yes, they got good eyesight, and if I would compare the two senses, sight and smell, I would say smell might be a little stronger because that's how they'll always use their nose to smell for any kill. So when other predators, or when the cats make kills, the hyenas will use more their senses of smell to be able to locate that kill wherever it is. But yes, they equally got a good sight, but better, they got a stronger sense of smell than sight. And to all of you nice children, we want to say thank you very much for joining us. Remember to stay in touch and tell your parents and your teachers. You can always watch our shows on YouTube and ask your questions on #SafariLive on Twitter. And as we close today, I'll take you back to that beautiful leopard.
Well, he's still dozing. Oh, he's giving himself a little bit of a clean. That's how leopards bath, just at home. They like to lick themselves clean. Are you going to get up and move now, big boy? Or are you going to just roll over again? Oof. Very tough question from Joban. What is the hearing range of a leopard? I would say they can probably hear other leopards calling from up to 10 kilometers away. But when it comes to little sounds like steps in the grass, it's very difficult for me to say exactly. But I'd say they've probably got hearing twice to 3 times better than ours. Oh, it's getting chilly, but he's still going to continue napping. Oh, Abby would like to know, what training do we need for our job? Well, lots of time in the bush is always a good one, Abby. I was very lucky. I've been doing this since I was very small. I've grown up in the African bushveld. But normally you can go to a guiding school and you will train there for 3 to 6 months. But to get to sort of the top of your game, the more time you spend in nature, the better. And that's how you really get on. Okay, and I'm sure you're tired of looking at me, so for the last minute we're going to look at the lovely little Hosana who's napping away. Hopefully he'll be around in the morning for those of you joining us on the sunrise safari. And it's been wonderful to share all these animals with you. It's been an absolute privilege. So thank you to Hosana Male Seneca School in Canada and Alderwood School in Washington for joining us on this amazing adventure. And hopefully you will join us for some more school drives so we can show you all the animals we haven't seen yet. So from all of us at Safari Live and this beautiful leopard, good night.